What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not, until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part.
No, Z-Neck. First of all, I rather like them legs of his. And secondly, I think we've put him through enough suffering. This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistos and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists, our Magnum Opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum Opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
You left your studies?
And I'm glad I did. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnik did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called Feuerwehr.
Feuerwerkbuch.
We couldn't believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Before we get started, there's something I want to know. Do you really need that much saltpeter?
We do. Saltpeter makes up almost 3/4 of the mixture. Not even all the cows in the region could produce enough for us once we really get started with manufacturing.
This book, Feuerwerkbuch, what's written in it?
Everything you'd want to know about black powder. How to mix it in the proper ratio. How to store it. How to light it properly. And especially how to use it in warfare. Because that's the most important part, after all.
What is it you're going to do with this powder?
During wartime, like it is now, a flammable and explosive mixture like this has more uses than you can imagine. If we had a few big barrels of the stuff, we could demolish Trotsky if we wanted to. And maybe we will.
All of us here are truly passionate about the idea of a new world. And now it's within our grasp.
What is it you studied at the university?
I was supposed to become a preacher.
That fits you. Maybe you'd even be a good preacher.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't.
God has a path prepared for each of us. And each of us here decided not to follow it.
I was supposed to be a dyer, but I was too lazy to work 6 days a week and soak my hands in lye.
I was supposed to become a nun, but I didn't want to give up the booze and fellas.
And I've already told you everything. The world is what you make it.
How did a scholar and an alchemist become a thief?
Prague is a big city, and a poor student has no chance of getting a decent place to sleep or even something to eat. Learning to shop with 5 fingers was the first requirement for survival. We're all masters of our own destiny.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed, it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
As long as you listen to me and keep the proportions right, you won't fuck it up.
I might actually listen to you if my ears ever stop ringing. Can't I go back to scraping niter off the walls of a sty instead of mixing this stuff?
As long as you listen to me and keep the proportions right, you won't fuck it up.
I might actually listen to you if my ears ever stop ringing.
Crazel?
The fuse didn't catch immediately.
I told you there's no need to dip it in resin and wax. Better to use rushes boiled in wine.
Very well, if you say so. We'll try rushes next time.
I'd also like to take a look at that book, Crazel.
In due time, Bunny. In due time.
Greetings to you.
Black powder? Well now.
You didn't expect that, eh?
I'm not so stupid that I wouldn't realize you're not just milling wheat here.
Bollocks! But it is true, you did guess right that we was making weapons. Anyways, I hope the miller gives us a bit of extra coin now things has finally worked out.
In the worst case, you can go back to licking the walls of pigsties.
But next time you'll be coming with me. See you soon, my friend.
Black powder? I'd never have expected that from Crazel.
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half deaf.
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Just that I was wondering that the explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Vasarik. Hey, how did you know what we were actually doing?
I didn't, exactly.
But you said weapons. How did you find out? Did we let it slip somehow?
It was clear to me the moment I saw that book. I figured the illustrations were about either painting the walls with something to make them invisible, or demolishing them with some kind of flames.
Whew! That means it's all on Crazel, and I played my role properly. Anyway, you did a damn fine job. You deserve a nickname from me, like I promised. We're going to call you Sourdough.
Sourdough?
Well, when you came here, you were kind of unrefined, grey, nothing much. But as you gained experience, you rose and rose until you've risen into a companion we need not be ashamed of. Take care then, Sourdough. And come back and visit sometime. See you later, my friend.
So how about that book of yours, Crazel?
Wouldn't you like to know?
All secretive again, are we? I thought we got past that.
Sorry, Henry. Force of habit. My great work is complete. I picked up where Black Bertolt left off and brought his conclusions to a close. I believe that my work will lay the foundations of a new world, where knowledge will forever reign over darkness.
Sounds interesting. Could I at least get a peek?
Sorry, Henry, but that won't happen. If anyone heard about the book, the church would be after me, like a dog after a rabbit. I hid the original so well, even you wouldn't be able to find it. Believe me, I made an effort.
You know I'd never tell anyone about it.
What if you were tortured, huh? No. You can never be too sure. I even made an exact copy, just to be safe. That was even more work than we had with the original.
So maybe you could lend me this copy?
It's no longer here. I paid a messenger to take it to Kuttenberg, to someone I owe a lot to.
You really led me on about the gunpowder magazine, didn't you? A golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and shadow. That was all just empty talk, wasn't it?
Not exactly. It's all based on the real philosophy of the Jewish Kabbalah. I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Freiberg, but it was never in my interest to put their theories into practice. But they worked brilliantly as a cover-up, don't you think?
I reckon I played the fool well, if you thought I was falling for your delusions all along. I worked for Conrad Keyser himself, just so you know. And he never tried anything like that on me.
Keyser? Fancy that. Next time I'll play it safe and stick to the classics like Thomas Aquinas.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Bertolt's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Louis Samin has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed.
We've been through a lot together. Will you finally tell me more about yourself?
Have you not grown tired of all this constant questioning? I've told you plenty already. And if I left something out, it was for a good reason.
Well, I know about the university, the alchemy, your desire to change the world. But I don't know anything about you as a person.
That's a question I'd like to know the answer to myself. To find yourself and who you really are. Isn't that the only true meaning of life?
What's new around here?
Nothing much, lad. At least I haven't heard about anything.
Crazel. Where's the copy?
In the good hands of a messenger who'll hand it over to Hermes Trismegistos. You're not going to catch that fellow. He set off straight for Kuttenberg.
Who's Hermes Trismegistos?
That I will not tell you.
Well, I hope your courier arrived safely and didn't lose such a rarity to a common thief on the way.